our reporter Molima Silela is with Pilani Shangase. Let's listen in.
Against him, claiming that he was one of the instigators of the violence.
Yeah. We asked the police to investigate the source of these allegations, and I must say that Mr. Dlomo reserves his right to institute any civil action against those that have defamed him, and we are continuing to defame him without any shred of evidence.
Is your client now feel free? And I think there was some security concerns, as he had said, that he fears that this situation could put his family in danger. Now that he is, as you were saying, cleared by the police, is he feeling okay now and safe?
I would say so, but he is, of course, concerned by these allegations, unfounded allegations that have been made against him. He views them as being malicious. Hence, he reserves his right to take whatever action that the law permits to clear his name. Yeah.
Mr. Dlomo, while we have you, any comment from you on what has happened?
For now, I don't have any comments, but I think it is important for me that I acknowledge the favor of God for keeping me safe and my family safe. And I must say to you that the word of God says we must trust in the Lord in every situation, because God is the everlasting rock. So that is the only thing that I can say for now, that God is in control, and I know for the fact that the word of God says when troubles come your way, irregardless of the nature of any challenge, that is the time when you are a child of God, where you must know that your faith is tested. And through that endurance which I'm going through, once everything is over, I will be complete. So that is the short comment that I can make for now. And if there are any further questions or concerns, I've been advised by my lawyer that I refer all questions to him. But I want to say this, capitalizing on the point that I find myself in this situation. We are dealing not only with the physical protests that we see, but those who are in the religious community, I think they have a bigger role to play, because I don't doubt many who have not have an opportunity to go through the book that I just penned down, which was released last year, will know and understand the context as to why I say there are also other elements and other dimensions that we need to understand as a nation and as people of all races. But unity in diversity is key. Our people must not allow any influence that will divide our communities. We must unite as the people of this country and go through together in ensuring that we leave a legacy for our children and for the next generation. So this is not the time to point fingers, but this is the time to own up the crisis, to own up the challenge, and unite in diversity.
Mr. Dlomo, but Sorry, is this not the time, though, for the government to be able to find those that could be responsible for this? And also, you issued a statement earlier on where, and this got nothing to do with, I suppose, the case, where you're saying you were called by some leaders in government to come and assist. Are you able to share with us who those leaders are?
Well, for now, it will be safe for me not to mention their names. What should be your interest as journalists is that let us work together to bring about stability in our country. Let us all put our energies in ensuring that we unite our people. I think that is what should be a priority to all of us. If anyone objects to that, then certainly I cannot comment.
Mr. Dlomo, it's Mwele from Newzroom Afrika. You are saying you met with leaders. Can you tell us as to who are those leaders?
Okay, my attorney, please, can you take over, because I have indicated earlier that I am not at liberty to divulge names. And I don't think that question also serves any interest in as far as the situation we are facing as a country.
But what was the meeting about?
All that should be your concern as a journalist, how we come together, irregardless of levels or spheres of our government, provincially, nationally, and locally, and communities of our society, in ensuring that we resolve the crisis. Don't be concerned about whom did Mr. Dlomo meet. The issue here is that we are facing a crisis. Now, in a crisis, if I may just share with you, what becomes critical, one of the elements that you must consider is that you must put on a hat of unity. Egos, personalities, and factionalism does not help and will not help any situation or any country.
So are you saying this?
I'm saying your questions should be now directed at how we resolve the challenges we are facing as a nation. We must be constructive now. That must be a priority and a concern for everyone, including all media houses. Now, let us not make mistakes and talk about names and talk about people and lose focus on what we are facing. Now, this does not determine that we must be a scientist to understand. It's logic, simple logic. When you have a challenge, face the challenge. Thank you. Take over.
Mr. Shanga, are you going to take, as I was saying, relating to the statement that former ambassador issued earlier on, speaking about the Deputy Minister of State Security and the comments that he had made against him, or the allegations that he had made against him, have you spoken to your client? Are you going to be challenging those comments, taking that forward?
No, we've discussed that, and as I said, Mr. Dlomo's rights are strictly reserved. He's still considering to institute civil action for defamation of character against all those that have bandied about all these unfounded statements against him. We've been to the police, we've met the provincial commissioner, and he's saying that, look, there's no evidence of any incitement that was ever perpetrated by Mr. Dlomo. There is no case that has been registered against Mr. Dlomo. So we don't know where these allegations come from. So all those people that have made these allegations, really, they have to explain the source of their information, where exactly these allegations emanate from. We don't know.
And for you, the matter is now settled?
For Mr. Dlomo, he's reserving his right, as I said, to take whatever legal action to try and restore his person that has been injured by these allegations.
Mr. Shangas, it's Greg Ardai from News 24. If I may ask Mr. Dlomo, how do you feel like as being regarded as prime evil in South Africa, some might say?
It's hurting and it's painful. But as I indicated earlier, the word of God strengthens us. We are prepared, as I said earlier on, that when challenges come your way, one needs to consider that challenge as an opportunity testing your faith. So that is my approach and my perspective. And as I indicated earlier on, I have a responsibility as someone who joined the ANC at the age of 13 to put my experience in ensuring that we work toward South Africa that is prosperous. South Africa that our children and the next generation will delight in everything that we have worked together in diversity to build and secure. I think now, as some philosophers will say, in any crisis, you must consider the opportunity. What is the opportunity? The opportunity is that we must grow and correct from the challenges that we are experiencing. So consider all what has happened as an opportunity for us as South Africans to come back to our Creator, to come back to the anchor, to come back to the source of wisdom, so that we may have wisdom to do what? To build a nation that is united, irregardless of color, race, or creed. That is what I stood up for more than 36 years. But now I'm not putting the ANC hat. I had a privilege to serve this country as the ambassador in Japan, strengthening relations, political and economic and social relations with Japan. I have matured through my international experience. So this must be very clear. We must not politicize the situation. Let us reflect precisely to the root cause of the challenges facing our people. Now, this leaves us with questions. Have we been just in our economic policies? Have we been just in addressing socio-economic factors? Now, those are questions that each and every one of you and the leaders of this country should be asking. Now, the answer towards that will then give light and direction to where we are heading as a nation. So I'm making a plea once more that this is the time to unite. This is the time to be positive. This is the time to bury our personal interest, egos, and all other things that will not take us anywhere. With those short words, please allow me now to go and see to it that my family is safe.
Mr. Dlomo, with due respect, you are known to be someone who is very close to former President Jacob Zuma. Do you perhaps, when have you been in contact with him? And if all these allegations are true, where do you think this is coming from?
Now, you see, one thing that must be clear is that having served as the DDG counterintelligence during former President Jacob Zuma's tenure should not be a stigma or a crime. We have currently in the new administration ministers, deputy ministers who served under President Jacob Zuma's tenure. Now, I get puzzled all the time when I become labeled as someone who's a top spy of Jacob Zuma, former President Jacob Zuma. I find it humiliating. I find it very insulting. Now, why? Because when I served during the days of apartheid, the machinery and the structures which recruited me to be part of the struggle to liberate our people, that was the machinery that they will, those who served in the struggle those days, they will tell you that the former president, Jacob Zuma, was the commander of those units. Now, is it a sin, therefore, for Ambassador Thulani Dlomo to have served as the DDG counterintelligence? Now, is it a challenge for me to have served being a Zulu? Or is it a challenge for some that I'm a child of God? So I just get puzzled, my dear brothers. Now, I think you are answered. I am not the only person in this country who served under the administration of former President Jacob Zuma.
Maybe just one last one. Have you been in contact with him recently? When last were you in contact with the former President Jacob Zuma?
Yeah, I don't think your question is relevant and helpful and constructive in the situation we are facing now. As I indicated earlier, let us move forward, united, in solving the challenges we are facing as a country. And in doing so, we must be mindful that the future of this country depends on the youth. So let us put our energies in ensuring that we leave a legacy, that when we all go leave this earth, we are at peace.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.